For most of my life, my looks were the foundation of my confidence and sense of self worth. Not only that, looks were pretty much how I gauged other people's worth as well. And if I deemed you ugly or unattractive, then you were pretty much worthless to me. Growing up, I was lucky enough to get, enough attention from girls. A lot of girls found me attractive, and this made me pretty arrogant. And it also made how I looked pretty much the only thing that made me feel valuable or important or worthy. So one time when I got into college, I was in my university union and this girl walked up to me. She complimented me on my appearance and then she asked me if I'd be willing to model in her upcoming fashion show. I played it cool, you know what I mean? I was a freshman, new to school. I definitely didn't want to seem overly excited or, she had just made my day, even though she did. So I played it cool, but on the inside, I was super excited. And of course, I wanted to walk in her fashion show because secretly, I'd always wanted to be a model, right? To me, being a model was like this holy grail of careers because, in my mind at least, right? You become this person who all these women lust after, all these women want to be with, all these women find super attractive. And for me at that time in my life, there was really nothing that I wanted more. So again, I played it cool. On the inside, I was super excited. I told her that I'd walk in her fashion show. I ended up going to the fashion show, doing the fashion show, walked in it, loved it, had a ton of fun. But even more than the fun, it was really super validating to my ego. It was really super comforting and like bolstering to my ego that in the school of tens of thousands of undergraduates, right? Someone came up to me, thought that I was handsome enough or attractive enough, and asked me to walk in their fashion show. And this really, I don't know, it put a battery in my back and it kind of inflated my ego even more than it already was at that point. And so from that moment on, I considered myself a model. And if you want to call it a career, I don't really think it's appropriate to call it a career because I never really got paid. But if you want to call it a career, my modeling career kicked off there. I continued to do local fashion shows and like small shoots for brands, for clothing brands, or I did a couple magazine shoots. One of the highlights is I got asked to model for my school's magazine for the fashion edition of the magazine or the style section of the magazine. And then my modeling career kind of peaked with me walking in Charlotte Fashion Week. So I went to school in Columbia. Charlotte was like the first or the main big city close to us. And so I auditioned to walk for it. I got it. And that was another really validating moment for me because now I had gotten out of my local area, right? And I went up to a big city and the powers that be deemed me worthy to walk in that show as well. So after that, I felt like a real model. But despite that, my modeling career kind of fizzled out after that. I mean, it takes a lot more to being a model than just being kind of handsome, and I didn't really understand that at the time, and also wasn't really ready to put in the work necessary to like grow that career. So it kind of fizzled out, but still, all of the validation that I'd gotten from doing those fashion shows, from having people call me a model, for having people ask me to shoot for them, it really, really, really reinforced my ego and kind of, I don't know, it made me feel better than a lot of people, to be honest, better than a lot of men, and especially better than bald men. I mean, it's kind of a joke for everyone who does have hair that bald men are kind of undesirable, right? I think between women and men, bald men are often the butt of some jokes, right? Like nobody really wants to be bald, and never in a million years did I think that I would be bald, and that's why I felt so comfortable clowning bald men. But the thing about karma is that it's really patient, and it always waits for the perfect moment to give you back what you put out into the world. So about 4 or 5 years after college, I was going through a really hard period of my life. I just found out that my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. If you know anything about cancer and pancreatic cancer is really bad, and the diagnosis is pretty grim. Like most people don't survive more than a couple years. Getting this news like really, really turned my world upside down. And I'll talk about this more on the channel because it was really the catalyst that changed my life. It was the catalyst that changed everything. But getting back to this subject, I was going through, dealing with the news of my mom getting cancer, having to force her mortality, having to face my own mortality, and just trying to live with the reality that my mom may die one day soon. And this was really devastating for me. It was really, really super depressing. And one day I came home to visit my mom. She was really sick. She wasn't doing very well at all. And I was actually about to drive her to the cancer center, which was a couple states away. When I got to her house, because I was living in Charlotte at the time, when I got to her house, I hadn't seen her in a while. The first thing I noticed is that she was super bloated. Like her belly looked like she had swallowed an inner tube, like with how much fluid was in her stomach. She was short of breath. She couldn't move. And like, I don't know, just seeing her in that state really, really, really broke my heart and really, really, really made me sad and depressed. And like, this is really happening. Like, I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe this is happening to my mom. And I was kind of still stuck in like, not toxic masculinity, but rigid masculinity at the time. And I didn't want my mom to see me cry. And I definitely didn't want her to I wanted her to be strong for her. I didn't want her to feel like what she was going through was making my life harder, whether it was or not, right? But it was really hard for me, and I was starting to break down. I was starting to cry. So instead of having her see me cry, I went into the bathroom so I could cry in peace for a little while. And I remember looking in the mirror with my bloodshot red eyes and tears streaming down my face. And the first thing that I noticed is that this little spot in my hairline was thin, like super, super, super thin. Like thin to the point where I can no longer deny that my hair was thinning, right? Like thin to the point to where this isn't just like it wasn't just combed or brushed in the wrong way. Like there were obvious gaps, and I could see very clearly that I didn't have very much longer with my hairline. And so like that was like insult to injury, right? Like on top of feeling devastated about my mom being sick, feeling devastated about, everything that she's going through. I also look in the mirror and see someone I don't recognize. I see someone who isn't the handsome guy that I'd felt like I'd been for, the past 20 something years. And I really didn't recognize him. And I mean, it really shattered my entire world. Like that was easily one of the worst days of my life, because not only am I losing my mom, but I'm also losing my hair. And it wasn't just hair. Like, kind of how I alluded in the first part of this video, how I looked was everything to me. Like, I appeared to be a very confident person at the time, but that confidence was all built on, like, a foundation of sand, and that sand being my appearance. And I never in a million years thought that my appearance would be something that I would lose. And so I had gotten very comfortable on this pedestal that I had built for myself, right? This throne of superficial confidence. I had gotten very comfortable on it. And then, like in the blink of an eye, it was like it was all gone. Like it all went away. And so becoming a bald man was easily one of the hardest things that I've ever had to deal with in my life. Like, it took a long time. Like, I'm not going to say that I saw that receding hairline and immediately shaved my head. That didn't happen at all. I went through all the stages of grief. I went through more denial. I went through bargaining. I went through, should I consider a hair transplant or can I color it in? I went through, I don't know, everything that you can possibly go through. But at a certain extent, the anxiety had gotten so bad, what I call pre-baldness anxiety, had gotten so bad that it was becoming more painful to look at myself in the mirror every day with my thinning hair than it would have been to just shave, at least I thought. So one of those mornings, shortly after my mom passed, and my hairline had gotten like up here. But a few months after my mom passed, I had gotten some renewed strength, and I said, I'm just going to shave it. So I woke up one morning and I shaved my head, and it was terrifying. It was really terrifying. It was one of the hardest things I'd ever done at the time. But I remember when I was done, I felt such relief, right? I definitely didn't feel handsome anymore. I definitely didn't feel like people would value my looks anymore at all. And to be honest, for the first probably year, I wore a hat like 24/7, even within the house, just because I couldn't stand to see myself with a bald head, and I still didn't recognize that guy. But the courage that it took to go ahead and shave my head was really empowering for me. And it kind of sparked something within me to show myself, hey, all of your value isn't just external. All of your value isn't just in how you look. Like, you had to have some sort of solid character to even shave your head, because no shade at all, but a lot of men hang on to their hairline for as long as they possibly can because, in my opinion, they don't feel like they have the courage or the confidence to go ahead and shave it. And so to go ahead and shave my head was one of the things that showed me that, hey, Michael, your value isn't only in the way that you look. And it's really kind of cool that you would go ahead and do this. And another blessing in disguise was not focusing on my looks very much at all. I mean, not focusing on my looks very much at all anymore, and instead going within and trying to understand who I am within as a person, right? And so I went within and I found a lot of things about myself that I didn't like. I found a lot of things about myself that were really ugly. One of those things being judging others for how they look, right? But I also found a lot of things that were really beautiful. I found a lot of things that gave me value outside of just my appearance. Things like being kind generally, being compassionate generally, like, wanting the best for others in the world, wanting the world to be a better place. And I found this newfound compassion, not just for other people in the world, but for myself, right? And my mom getting sick kind of jump-started that, but me going bald really amplified it because it helped me understand that everyone suffers, right? Everyone has self-image issues. Not everyone is lucky enough to be born with an appearance, right, that many people find attractive. And those people probably in a lot of ways have had a much harder life than I have. And instead of, maybe using my position, my privilege, my whatever to try to help those people, for a long time I was a part of the people who put them down. And that made me feel really bad. And I don't know, I think for us men especially, we're not supposed to care about how we look. We're not supposed to care about, things like beauty, right? Even though I think we all do. If we didn't, then losing our hair wouldn't be such a big deal. But it's like, it showed me that men have feelings too. I have feelings too, and that men deserve to be valued for things outside of external circumstances, just like women do, right? They say beauty is only skin deep, and that's not true. Beauty goes much deeper than the skin, but I think for a lot of people, the skin deep beauty is the most important, and that's sad because beauty fades for all of us. Time is going to take each and every one of our beauty, each and every one of our physical beauty away from us eventually, right? And not only that, I even think within the context of a relationship, say you get with someone really hot, you get with someone super attractive, right? It's only a matter of time before their beauty is no longer that important, right? I saw this on a shirt one day and it made me laugh. It said, no matter how hot she is, no matter how attractive she is, some man somewhere is tired of her shit. And not even trying to be sexist, because the same thing applies to men, right? No matter how handsome he is, no matter how muscular he is, some woman somewhere is tired of his shit. And that's so true. Once you get to know a person, right, there's no amount of external beauty that can cover up for internal ugliness, right? And I think why going bald for me was such a blessing, and why I wouldn't grow my hair back even if I could, or I wouldn't get a hair transplant, or if some miracle pill came along that allowed you to grow hair back, I probably wouldn't do it. And the reason why I say probably is because there's a little piece of me that still wants to have a man bun one day. But the reason why I very probably wouldn't do it is because going bald made me a much better person. It's not even a question. And one of the biggest ways it did that was by reflecting to me my inner ugliness, by reflecting to me my inner shallowness, by reflecting to me how I discarded so many people and thought myself better than so many people just based on something that I didn't choose. And not only that, it gave me a confidence that can't be taken away by time, right? So I was saying beauty fades for everyone. Eventually time will take away everyone's beauty. But one thing time can't take away is our character, right? It can't take away our integrity. It can't take away our morals. It can't take away our perspective. It can't take away our compassion or, you know, the great things we want to do in the world and for other people. And by God, and I really do think it was God, and, you know, even the situation with my mom allowing me to go bald, it gave me so much more, because now I have a confidence that's unshakable. I have a confidence that whether, you know, I lose an arm or a leg or my nose, or I don't know, have a huge zit on my face, then I don't feel, I'm no longer losing confidence just because I don't look the way that I think that I should look. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up now. My name is Michael Sinclair. I'm a growth guide. This week on the channel, we're talking about worth and worthiness. And so I wanted to hop on here and talk about how going bald initially made me feel very unworthy, but eventually made me feel even more worthy than how I felt when I had hair, than how I felt when I was super attractive in my mind, right? And I don't know. It's just one of those things where you would never in a million years expect it would happen to you. And at the time that it happens is one of the worst things that's ever happened to you. But over time, like with growth, it comes to be one of the best things that has ever happened for you. And losing my hair was one of the best things that ever happened for me, because it made me a much more confident person. And it revealed to me that my worth and my worthiness has nothing to do with how I look on the outside. So I hope this video brought you some value. I hope it served you in some way. Next week, we're going to be talking about something different, and maybe I'll get away from my newsletter topics. So if you don't know, I've been writing a newsletter surrounding self-growth every week for the past year and a half. If you want to check it out, the link will be in the description. And starting out, I just wanted to follow my newsletters just because I feel like it would give me easy subject matter to talk about. But now I'm feeling a little bit more confident and comfortable in front of the camera again, so maybe I'll deviate from that. But either way, if you like the kind of stuff that I talk about and you want to, you know, be notified when I post, feel free to subscribe. But even if this is the first and last video you ever see of mine, I hope you understand that your worth is something that is inherent, and it can't be measured by anything external to you. So hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and peace.